Welcome back to the arcade. Yep, I just can't stay away from eBay. Another eBay purchase. It's got stickers all over it. Special handling. Fragile. Must be Italian. Yeah, okay. Actually, this comes from Carlton, Texas. And let's go ahead and open it here and see what we got. Of course, judging by the title of the video, I'm sure you already know what it is. Looks like they did a pretty good job of wrapping it up. That's very nice. Get a Hallmark card, says thank you. Alright, basically a little thank you card saying that if you like what I got, don't forget to leave feedback. So, alrighty. More packing materials. Bubble wrap. Let's see if I can find the door on this thing here. Okay, glad I didn't just go cutting into it. It's a bag, a bubble wrap bag. And it looks kind of pinkish, so I believe that's the anti-static bag. So that ought to be pretty good. Save that. All right, more bubble wrap. Definitely wrapped pretty good. A whole lot of people on eBay don't know how to wrap stuff up. And things get damaged in shipping, but evidently these people are experienced. And they did a darn good job. Of course, I still don't know if I got a piece of junk or if it's going to serve my purpose. It is non-working. But at least this one, well, even comes with a overlay here. Color change, intensity increase. Don't know what that went to. Doesn't look like it came from a game. Color change, white, green, red, blue. Don't know about that one. Well, does have a power cord. I forget what they said in the description about this. they tried it, and I believe the screen came up blank. So I'm not even going to try it because, one, I don't have any joysticks for it. I don't have any games for it. This one doesn't come with the top, the little transparent cover, where if you had the games, you could put the games in here and the little dust shield cover goes over it. I do have one of those with my other one that I bought. But again, this one doesn't have the TV switcher, antenna switcher. But it does have the cable that it plugs into, which is hardwired to the units. So, okay. Well, you know, my purpose of getting this is I need some more. I think I need at least one I/O chip, and this has one I/O chip in it. The custom Bally Midway ICs that are used in arcade games like GORF, Wizard of War, Robbie Roto, and I know I'm forgetting a couple, but you get the idea. Alright, well, it doesn't look like this has really been taken apart, although you can never tell for sure. So let's go ahead and see if we can get this cover off. Now the last one I got was already apart. It didn't have any screws in it. So I'm going to save these screws. And the only thing I did was harvest the chips out of the other one. Either one of these could probably be fixed. And there's probably not a whole lot wrong with them. So I'm not going to destroy them. I just want the chips right now to test them to see if they're good, number one. If I need them to fix a GORF board, I'm going to use them to fix a GORF board. And maybe one day I can get one of these working back together. I would like to have one of these just to play around with. A buddy of mine had one back in the day when they came out, and we always kind of liked the system, and it would be kind of neat to have one to kind of play around with. Okay. Well, we got the top loose, so we'll take the top off here. And yes, this one has never been apart. It looks all original. You can tell a lot of times by these solder tabs. It's got this RF shield on it. And you can tell when somebody's been in here and has resoldered these and mucked around with them. So, yeah. This definitely looks, everything is intact and complete. Even the little copper ground strips right here that goes from the RF module. And even though this copper strip right here had came loose, it looks like adhesive backed tape. But yeah, I don't think this has ever been apart. Looked like somebody did try to pry it up right here where the on-off switch is. It is bent right here a little bit. Maybe they were trying to see if the on-off switch was broke. But that's the extent that I can see. Somebody looked like put a screwdriver under there and try to prise that up. They didn't know that you had to unsolder these to get it off. So. Okay, well, let me go ahead and heat up the soldering iron, and let's go ahead and remove this shield right here and see what it looks like underneath. Okay, well, if memory serves me correct, I'm going to have to remove or loosen up this keyboard and cartridge holder because the one of the custom chips is right on the edge of this right here, and it has the wires here that come off of the keyboard run down and solder to the main board, and it's right over top of that chip, so you have to be able to fold this back in order to get that chip out. And it looks like that this is screwed in from the bottom side of the board, and there are no screws under the bottom here, so that means I'm going to have to take the screws out and lift the board off of the bottom here, I believe. This was already loose on the other one, so I don't know if it had screws in it, if they broke the screws, or what they did. So it has a screw here. Let me go ahead and take this out. And let's see. Need to be able to get the screw out. It has a screw and a little plastic washer. So I want to make sure we keep the plastic washer. I'm sure an insulator, so nothing shorts out, even though it don't look like nothing there to short out on the board. I see what it is. It's like a little plastic piece that comes up, and the board is hole in the board is cut out to go around that plastic piece, so the board slips over the plastic column, and the screw just holds that washer across the top of it to hold it in place. It doesn't actually put pressure on it. So that's what it looks like here. All right, two on this side. And this one must be a grounding screw because it looks like it's got a little ground piece there, and it's got a metal washer under it, lock washer. All right, wonder if that's going to do it. Well, that seems to have gotten this side loose, but must be screws under here too. So I guess I'm going to have to go ahead and take this metal off next. So what I'm going to do, drop that, get this untangled. I'm just going to go ahead and heat it up, and taking an X-Acto knife, because it's real thin, and just slide it underneath and just lift the tab up. That's right tough tab. Might be better if I get a little screwdriver so it's not as flexible. I know I got one here somewhere. Yeah, here we go. Need something a little stronger than that X-Acto blade. Yeah, they're right strong tabs. Takes a little bit of heat to heat them up too. Might even have to add some solder to it. Yeah, that thick one there, I'm going to have to add a little bit of solder to it. Need to get my thicker solder. There we go. Come on. All right. Peel this tape off. That one just broke off. That one's not connected. Got another tab right there. That's not soldered. There's a tab on this side. I believe that's some kind of a clip. Let's see if that'll just pull off. Yeah, that just slides off. Oh, come on. All right. Yep, more screws. 2 big screws. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 little screws. Let's start with the big ones. Don't know if all of them come out or not, but I'm more than likely they do. No plastic washers on these. Okay. They don't need to come off. They're probably holding it down to the metal chassis here. Yeah. Has a metal chassis. So now we got access to these 4 screws. I don't even have to take this plate off. So they're hex head, but they also got screwdriver slots. So I should be able to just unscrew them with the screwdriver here. This is my first time taking one of these apart. Like I say, that first one was already taken apart. Okay. Now we should be able to lift this up and out of here. It's got spider webs under it. Okay, see with this right here, the wires to the keypad are connected through this board, and it's hardwired on right here onto the main board. Okay, this is one of the main custom chips right here. That's the one that in GORF has a heatsink on it. Now in this, it has a heatsink, but it's just a flat bar of aluminum. So let's see. Yeah, we can just unplug this and get this out of the way. This is the RF unit right here. As a matter of fact, we can unplug this plug, and for future reference, it goes probably only, well, it looks like you could put it on more than one way, but it goes on with the white wire towards the board. So, and the black wire goes to the outside of the case. So we can go ahead and remove all the wires. And okay, well, definitely nobody's been in here. These look like the original electrolytic capacitors, which nowadays I'm sure they need to be replaced, especially if this unit was used a lot back in the day. All right, well, my main concern is to harvest these chips and find out if they're good. So with that said, they're in a socket, so I should be able to just take and put a screwdriver in here and real gently pick it up out of there. All the legs are intact. They look a little on the dirty side, but not too bad. Now I'm wondering how hard it is to get this heatsink off, because when I put this chip out of the other one in the GORF board, it's thicker than the original heatsink, and it was kind of wanting to rub the board right next to it. So I'll show you something about that here in just a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna put this back down. Now these are the other two custom chips. This is a 0066115XX, and this one a little bit harder to read. This is a 0066-117XX. So this is the 115, and this is the 117. One of these is the I/O chip, and the other one goes with the first chip I just took out on a GORF board. So anyway, let's go ahead and get these out of here real easy. I always get nervous when I'm taking out custom chips like this. Oh, wrong screwdriver. But they're coming out the sockets real easy. That's nice. Okay, looks good. All right, well, for all intents and purposes, that's all I need this for. Now, maybe one day when somebody recreates these chips, or if I find another cheap unit and I don't need the chips to fix a GORF board, then hopefully I'd like to get one of these units between the two, get them put back together. can get one of them, at least one of them working. So, yeah. All right, well, I'm just gonna kind of put everything back on this. I'm gonna put all the screws and fasteners in a little baggie, and we'll put this back in the box and keep it for later use. Okay, well, you might be wondering, why do I need more custom chips for the GORF? Well, because GORF went down again, but it's up and running because I had a spare board. Had a problem with the CPU board. This is the board that was in it. Just came out here one day and turned it on, and the screen was all messed up. So I pulled out the CPU board, and that was this back in July 13th. I wrote it down here, bad, July 13th, 21. So that's when the GORF went down, and I pulled one of my spare boards out that I had got going in one of the other videos, and put the board in, and GORF is back up and running. So at that time, I just put this board away in with the spare boards, and I said I'll visit it, you know, one day in the future. Really hadn't planned on doing it till maybe later on this winter when it's cold outside and need something inside to do. I was going to go back and sort of go back over some of these GORF boards and fix the ones that we needed to fix. But anyway, like I say, I had a spare board, and I also have another spare CPU board. So I got the one that's in the game, and this is the one that I fixed by using the two chips that came out of the first Astrocade that's in the other video. And this one, back January 28th, is when I put these chips on this board and tested it, and this board works. So I do have another spare board, which is good because of the custom chips I took out of the Astrocade. Well, what I need to do now is find out what happened to this board, if it was the custom chips that went bad, or if it's something else on the board that went bad. I'm kind of hoping that something else on the board went bad and the custom chips are okay. But just in case, I went ahead and got that other Astrocade so I'd have a spare set of chips in case one of these chips was bad. So I think what I'm going to do first is I'm going to go ahead and put this board back in the GORF to make sure that this board is still working. And I'm just going to take the working board out of the GORF and set it aside. I don't want to mess with that, because if things go awry, I can always put the good working board right back in the game, and I'm back up and running, and we'll deal with the boards later. So first I want to make sure that these two chips are working and this board is working. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the chips out of this board that I suspect is bad. Well, I know the board is bad because it doesn't work. And I'm going to put these chips in this known working board and figure out if either one of these chips is bad. Then I'm also going to take the two chips that I took out of the Astrocade a few minutes ago, and we're going to put them in a good board, and we're going to see if they're good. So back to doing some testing. So first thing I need to do, you can hear in the background GORF is up and running. So I've already plugged in the game, fired it up, so we got a known good working game. So now I'm going to pull the CPU board out and pop in this CPU board, which is supposed to be working, and find out if it is still working. So let's do that next. Okay, we cut the game off, and now let's pull the CPU board out. And this is a good working board. I'm going to lay this over here out the way. grab this board with the Astrocade chips in it, and let's put it in and see if it still works. All right. Let's see what happens. All right. Okay. Well, it definitely looks like it's working.
Insert toy.
So, yep. That board is definitely working. All right. So let's go ahead and cut the game off, and we'll take that board out and we'll start swapping some chips around. Okay, first thing I'm going to do is let's take out the chip with the heatsink, which is, I believe, U15. All right, let me take this one out first. See if it's easier to get that one out with this one out the way. Okay. All right, now these have been in here a while. This isn't original to my game, but I think this board has been in there for quite a while. So let me take a look at the legs here. They're not too terribly dirty. They're not the cleanest I've ever seen. There's always a possibility that, you know, may just need to clean the legs, or it may need new sockets. But okay. I think what I'm going to do, since we know this board is working and we don't know which one of these chips is bad, I'm going to go ahead and take both of these chips out and put them in this board. And if the board works, then probably one of those chips are bad. We can determine that later. That way we'll have this board here, which we know the board is good, and we'll put the two chips we just took out of the Astrocade in here and check them together. And if this board works with those chips, we'll kill two birds with one stone. Doesn't always work that way for me, but we're going to give it a try anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and remove both of these, which I know is good, both of them. All right. I'm going to put these in the known good board. Put my magnifying glasses on. I don't want to get these pins wrong. A little more difficult with this heatsink on this thing. Okay, that's in. And this is U3. This is a custom data chip. Address chip, I believe. Yeah, that's what it is. Custom data address chip. Okay. But that ain't the chip I wanted to put in. I'm already getting these mixed up. Yeah, this is a good chip. I'll just put back in. I'm putting these in. So easy to get mixed up. Okay. Now, I think I got it right. I took those two chips out of this board, which is the one that was in my GORF that stopped working, and I put them in this board, which is supposedly a good board. So now we're going to find out if it still has the problem. Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and install the board. Turn the game on. Let's go see what it looks like. Yep, that's what it was doing. So one of those chips is bad. That's the exact same thing it was doing in the other board. So now we just have to determine which one of those chips is bad. See, that part works. That works, except you see streaks. It's leaving streaks behind. Yeah, definitely has problems. Okay. All right, well, let's see if we can narrow it down. Okay. Well, any guesses of which one of these two chips is bad? Still possibility that it's not a chip. It could be something else on the board. But I'm going with the theory that these custom chips are going bad, and it's probably one of the custom chips. So is it this custom chip, or is it the address custom chip? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. All right. Let's go with the heatsink one. I'll be able to get it loose now since it's been out the board. And we'll put the one out of the Astrocade, which has the metal bar heatsink on it. Notch. Make sure we get the notch right. All right. Okay, it's in. Let's go ahead and put it in the game and see what happens. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Oh, still looks messed up. So maybe that custom chip was okay. All right. Let's try the other one. Okay. Go ahead and take this one out, which is U3. And we'll put our good chip back in. All right. Well, we already know this is good, and we know that's good. So now we need to put the other chip back in. Because we need to find out if this is good, since it did the same thing with this and the known good chip with this other chip in. So now we'll switch it around. And we'll find out for sure if this chip is good or bad. I should have just tried that one to start with. Okay, well, let's give it a try. All right, here we go again. All right, let's fire it up and see what happens. All right, that was the problem. U3 was bad. I believe it's the data address chip.
Insert die.
Okay, so this time it wasn't the one with the heatsink, it was the other one. Okay, one mystery solved. Okay, now let's find out if the chips out of the one I just took apart out of the Astrocade are good. Okay, well, before I forget, I'm going to go ahead and label this chip bad. And today is 8/24/21. Put bad. And I'll put another sticker on it. This is U3 on the CPU. So I'll know where the chip came from or where it goes. Now on this one, That's U15. U15 for the CPU. And then I'm going to put 8, 24, 21. Good. Okay. That way I know what's what. Now, I'm going to pull these back out. Put these together. Now, I know the one with the heatsink goes in U15. So I'm going to go ahead and notches right here, notches on this end. So we know this board is good, with good chips. So we're going to put the 2 chips in here from the Astrocade. That went kind of crooked. Pull that back out. Okay, that went in good. Now, this one here. I got the 2 chips I pulled out the Astrocade, only one of them is the right one. This address chip is 115. Yeah, 115. So this one here is 115. And the other one, which is the I/O chip, is 117. So we want this one here. Important, we don't want to get them mixed up. Okay. The legs look a little spread apart. All right, get the notch right. And they're still spread apart. The legs are kind of bowed. All right, let's try that. Okay. They all went in. Okay, now we got a known good board, but we don't know about the chips that came out the Astrocade. Cross the fingers, we'll put them in, and let's find out if they're good. All right, here we go again. Yes, I forgot about that. The heatsink is bare aluminum and it's close, so I need to put a label on that so it don't short out. Okay, got a label on there so make sure it won't short out. Let's try to get this line back up. All right, let's fire it up. Let's see what happens. It looks like we got success. Let it go in a track mode here, make double sure. All right. Okay, another Astrocade has dearly departed so that another GORF board can be resurrected. Okay. Well, that just leaves one chip, this other I/O chip, which goes in the other board. While we're at it, we might go ahead and test that too. I believe I had one board that was shy one chip. I'm going to have to go through my notes and look back through the boards and see if I can find out for sure.